I'm about to tell you guys about the most earth-shattering, most beautiful thing I have ever experienced in this lifetime. Completely changed my life. I will never be the same.
Charlie. Hotter bad bitches in the city. All the girls, they are so pretty.
So I'm gonna take you guys through my journey. Mind you, I have no clue why life happens the way that it does, because I don't know. Ever since I was younger, I've always been super open-minded to like trying new stuff. And it's very weird because there's always signs given to you. Like every single person you meet, every single synchronicity that you have in this world, like there's signs within that. And mind you, I have done psychedelics before. I've done acid, Molly. I was probably too young to even like get the grasp of like what actually is and like what I'm actually doing, to be honest. And you know, this is the first time I have ever taken a substantial amount. I would say this time I took around 4.5 grams of penis envy, and I took them at 8 p.m. Within the first 30 minutes I started to feel like, okay, am I feeling something? And I was on the couch like waiting for something to kick in, like visuals. I was staring at the blinds being like, okay, like I know I'm feeling something whenever the blinds start moving. That's what always happens. And I think one other time I took maybe even the same amount, but I didn't have the experience I had this time. And I've done so much research, you guys. My whole entire life has been devoted to spirituality, like manifestation, like consciousness. I've read about all of this stuff. Frequency, manifestation, the different planes and realms. Mind you, I've dabbled in this. I've taken, you know, this stuff before, but for some reason this time my mind was blown. And they say like the mushrooms, they choose and they pick who they want to like show these things to. For some reason this time, like I experienced the complete version of an ego death. Like, wow. So going back, 8:30, 8:40, I started to feel it. So to get the most benefit from psychedelics, especially like mushrooms, they say you want to blindfold yourself and like close your eyes and be within darkness. So I went to the bed, I closed my eyes, I turned all the lights off, you guys, and I was playing music. And the first song that came on was like, "This Is My Song," with like the Kanye West, he sampled it or whatever. And immediately the mushrooms started to like create this concert within my visualization. It showed me, basically what started to happen was it showed me what it felt like to create a masterpiece. Like with each thing that we do, there are some things in life that you just get right. Like it is 100% like a masterpiece of perfection. And it started to show me all of these visualizations, like movies and like music, and how it's created and how it's formed, and why it becomes so successful. Like, I started to see what a masterpiece was and how it's created and the frequency that it's at. And I was stunned. I'm like, oh my God, this is like what all the greats do. This is how they do it. So then that song ended, and then a song by Rory came on, and his music is all about like uplifting people and like creating a world of happiness, like bringing people out of the darkness. And once I heard that, it started to show me like good people in this world. And I was like, well, what is this for? Like what are we supposed to be doing on this earth? Like, why are we here? And in a visualization, like with my eyes closed, it started to show me like within each decision that we make, like we're supposed to be like uplifting the collective consciousness. And we do that with starting with ourselves. And it just showed me like all of this goodness that people do and how it always adds up to something. And like I started to cry, you guys. Like I literally gasped for air because I felt so much love for the world and humanity, and like everything just started to make sense. Like I told you, I've read about these things so many times, and to actually experience it in real time was something so incredible. And this is just the beginning. So that song ended and I was crying, bawling tears. I have no clue how much time even passed. Then this is where things started to get really trippy. Heat Waves came on, and that is a super popular song. And once I saw that, I was like, oh shit, like this may be a breakthrough, because once it showed me like the masterpiece of like why things are successful, like this song is very successful. And the mushroom basically was like, sit back, like I am about to blow your mind. And I remember I kept asking questions because this whole time I still like was in my ego, you guys. I was still trying to like put logic to what I was experiencing, and that's what's going to happen. Like you are going to try to like rationalize all these things. Like I kept feeling my body and like, okay, but I am a soul, I am like consciousness, like I'm a human. And I kept asking like why, like why is this, what is this? And the mushroom, it's so funny, and the psychedelic is so sarcastic. For me, like the way I describe it is like a masculine energy. And it was like, okay Veronica, okay, we are gonna like, you're gonna keep asking questions, okay, like we can play this little game all day. And it got to the point where that song came on and it started to show me like all of these pixelations. It was the most beautiful thing like I've ever seen. Like colors I've never even experienced before either. It was like black, white, pink, green, like blue. It was like, it looked like a kaleidoscope. And there was like 1, and then it turned into like 10, and then 20, and then 30, and it started multiplying over and over and over until like in infinity, you guys. And I was like, oh my God, like this is incredible. And within that pixelation, it showed me like the universe, like what this is. Like everything is just one thing, one moment, one energy. And within that pixelation, it completely put this pixelation over like what life is, and it took it away in an instant. And once this happened, you guys, my body was gone. I did not feel my body anymore. Like, it completely dissolved into this pixelation that I felt. And that was the most, it was terrifying, you guys. But at that moment, I completely surrendered, because mind you, I told you guys I was fighting before to like hold on to like my grasp of reality. And honestly, like, it does not take me that much to like give in to something. Like, I am so submissive, like especially with men. Like, oh, you're telling me to sit down, like, I will sit down, like, I will obey to you, like, daddy. Like, I was listening to the mushroom, like, he literally told me, like, babe, like, sit back, relax, I'm about to like blow your mind in a way you never thought before. So immediately, once like my body was gone and my soul was gone too, that was scary. Like, it took all these parts of myself that I thought that I was, like my ego, anything that I attached to myself, any insecurity, like any thought that I had, completely gone. And I fell into the freaking universe of like life completely. I was dissolved into it. And that was the most freeing thing I think I have ever felt in my life. Like, experiencing that, honestly, I think everyone should experience that at least once in their life, because that moment I realized like nothing truly matters in this life. Like, it is an illusion that, yes, it's important to have the experience, but all of these mundane things that we think are so important, and you need to be this, you need to do this, or like insecurities like that, it's nothing. Like, my mind is completely changed, you guys. Like, I became everything in one instance. I became like the God, the source, and it took me there. So then once that happened, mind you, I was still not in my body, but I guess the mushroom gave me some sense of like my soul back a little bit, because I started to become a frequency. And this sounds so bizarre, but I literally became like what I guess maybe an atom of a frequency would be. And I started to think about all the people that I have in my life, you guys. And it started to show me any single person that you have in your life is because you vibrate on the same energetic frequency that they are. And I started to think back of like people that I had in my life that I recently even cut out, and like I had no connection to them. It was the most oddest, bizarre thing ever. And I started to think of all the people that I did have in my life, and I felt their frequency so much, you guys. Like, whenever I would think of these people, like, I could see like their energy, like their lineage of like how powerful they are, like the people that are like chosen to be like great in this world. I started to see that within like my friends or like my family. It was so crazy. And it even got to a point of where I was like channeling or like feeling into the energy of like greatness so much, like that masterpiece energy. Like, I connected and like met Jesus, Albert Einstein, like Kobe Bryant. Like, I have no interest, you guys, in any of these people, but like their energy came to me and I felt that. And I just kept thinking over and over about all the people in my life that I genuinely like love. And I saw and like felt into like their higher self, like the energy that they had. It was the most beautiful thing. And at this point I like broke down in tears again, and I was so emotional because I'm like, it even got to a point where I was like, oh my god, like everything has been leading me up to these moments within my life. Like the guy I saw like at Target, and like we exchanged like a look, like to like saying hi to like the door person, you know, having a simple conversation with like a stranger. And like how each time, or like watching a video talking about like, oh, psychedelics or something, like all of these synchronicities have been like leading me up to like do this and to experience this. And like I told you guys, like my spirituality, like I've always been into this shit, like always. But like the mushrooms, they really will like help you and like guide you. It was so crazy because I saw like every moment and every time that has been like leading me up to bring me to like my fullest potential. And it showed me like synchronicities and like what that is. And then, okay, mind you, so after this I like woke up, I turned the lights on, and I came and got my camera because I'm like, oh my god, like what is this? Like how did I not know? Why am I so late? Like I felt like, oh my god, like I felt so behind because I'm like, I should have experienced this a long time ago or whatever. And then I started thinking about like my favorite people that I watch on social media, and like I started to watch one of like their vlogs, and I'm like, oh my god, they get it. And I started to see like all the people that like get it or have experienced this before. It was the most oddest thing. I was tapping into so many people's like energy. I don't know if this was like their higher self energy, but I was communicating with all of these like different aspects of like people's souls. And then the mushroom started to show me like what wealth and like success and like money, the frequency of like money, and like we can all have that. It really just comes down to like the resonating with the frequency of wealth and success. And it showed me that. And you guys, it was so many lessons within lessons, and I kept asking the mushroom questions too. Something else that showed me is anything that leaves your life, any person, any experience, anything, it just means that it doesn't resonate with you. Like you are not vibrating on that same frequency. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not anything. It's just not in alignment with your core frequency. That's all it means at the end of the day. And to experience that and like see that, like there's no sadness. Like I don't know why in this realm and in this dimension we make moving on or like leaving people so hard, because it's not like a sad thing. It just means that you're not on the same frequency, and that is a-okay. Like I even tried thinking about like all these people in my past that hurt me, and like the mushroom was like it doesn't really matter. Like why are you even focused on that when you have so many good people that like adore you? And it showed me like the people that adore me. It was so good, you guys, so fucking good. And then I started to think back to like my own self and like how am I going to get to certain places. And then it started to like put that pixelation of like reality over again, and it started to like go back and forth of like, are you forgetting, like this is not real, babe? And the psychedelic energy, like that masculine energy, like it kept showing me that over and over, like it's not that serious. I did start to think about like my own insecurities though, and I did get into like kind of a loop of like thinking, and within this realm or dimension, I don't even know what you would call it, like you can start to loop over and over. And like, mind you, how I felt, everyone's like soul energy, it was so transparent, and I felt like everyone could see like all of these aspects of me. I think the mushroom for sure knows all of your shit. And maybe that's why I felt like, oh my god, all of my friends, anyone that meets me, like they could see everything I'm like insecure about. And that's what I started thinking about, like, do they know? Can they see this? Do they pick up on this every single day that they see me or whatever? And because this realm was so transparent, it started to freak me out. And I thought I was like never gonna be able to come back to like this reality. Like I genuinely thought that. Like I was like, oh my god, I may have like fucked up. Like, am I gonna stay here forever? At one moment, I think I even like forgot that I took like shrooms. It's all like mumbled and jumbled into each other, you guys. But I started to like come down, I guess, a little more, because once I started to come down, that was like kind of the best part, because I started to like get a grasp back on this reality, and I started to become like very grateful. And even within this time, you guys, the mushroom kept telling me like, no, like not everyone can like see through you like how you think they can. And it was so interesting because when I was coming down, I was like, I started to like realize like certain things about myself that I'm really good at too. And I started to like be really grateful that I was able to like see the world get absolutely destroyed by like source energy and put back together. And even the way that I'm explaining it, you guys, like there's no words to be able to explain what I experience. For some reason, before this, I always had a void, a deep void that I was never able to fulfill, like ever. No man, relationship, friendship, like anything in this world was ever able to fill it. Not even like myself. Like I always wanted to know the deeper meaning behind like life and like why I'm here. Like what is this? Like that was always my biggest question. Like what is this? Even since I was younger, like I always asked like what is this and why? Like what is this purpose? And experiencing this, I got my answer. Like I get it now. I see it. I became everything. The frequency, the source. I became love. I became the masterpiece all in one thing. And I was thinking, like, even after doing all of this, I'm like, oh my god, what if the void that we experience is because we don't know the deeper meaning of life or why we're here. And everyone thinks that that void gets filled up within a romantic relationship, and that is just not the case. Like, you, like, that whole thing of like finding your other half or your soulmate, and yes, it can fill it up for a little bit. Anything can fill it up, honestly. Money, friendship, sex, like, yeah, drugs, whatever. But I really think to fill that void is having a deep understanding of ourselves and where we come from, and like what this is, and like seeing and understanding like why we came here. And I got that answer too, of like why we are here, like why I'm here, like what I signed up to do on this earth and on this realm. And wow, like experiencing that, actually experiencing that and becoming that, that will completely change your life for the rest of like eternity. That's how I felt. Like, there's no going back for me. Like, I experienced what I experienced because I needed to. And like I said, I have no clue why. I think like experiencing like the universe, source energy, God, experiencing all of it, I think that is what fills the void, because you get it, you understand now. And I feel so motivated, I feel so content, I feel so happy with myself, my insecurities, like I feel absolutely like fearless and unstoppable. And I feel like I just went through a whole other spiritual awakening. Mind you, I had prior to this, I've had another big spiritual awakening. And I think that's when I really got a sense of like self-awareness. Mind you, I had like a lot of synchronicities, like I could feel like maybe like a Kundalini awakening almost. That's when I very first got into like spirituality heavily and stuff. But this, wow, you guys, it was the most beautiful, incredible, earth-shattering, mind-bending thing. And I get it. A lot of people say that they have near-death experiences and they experience like source, the sun, and the most intense amount of love like never before. And literally the moment I got out of like tripping, I wanted to make a video to come explain to you guys this, because wow, like the things that mushrooms have literally done for me, it has completely transformed my life. Like, I started off very small with microdosing, I worked my way up, and I have never in my life felt more confident, more whole, more complete, more fulfilled. And I literally like could cry, like tears of joy from how much it has helped like healed me. And it is just so beautiful, like this world, like what we get to experience. Like, I remember being just so depressed months ago, being so skeptical, like, and I don't feel that. Like, I woke up today with so much joy, so much gratitude, so much bliss, so much love. And 4.5 grams of penis envy mushrooms completely transformed my life, and it was the most beautiful experience I have ever had. I hope one day everybody on this earth will get to experience what I experienced, the bliss, the happiness, the gratitude, the joy, the earth-shattering experience, the dissolving of the ego, the leaving your body, coming back and realizing what this is and why you're here. Beautiful.